It's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today as promised, I'm going to teach you how to make this cute little hippo wearing a tutu. We're going to do a little bit different color. We'll see how that comes out, and let's go. Today we're going to make this cute little hippo. I know I've been promising it to you, but Cannon hurt his back. we haven't been able to film. Anyways, look, she even has a cute little butt. So it's a pretty easy little felt. I'm going to teach you how to make this tutu using some tulle that you can source at a local store near you. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to sit her over here. Of course, you're going to need core wool. Core wool. I have ample stock of core wool if you're looking on the website. You'll need a body color. We're going to do traditional gray for her body this time. This color is mint. It's called mink. It's kind of a purpley gray. It's kind of cool. I have a little bit of sparkly fire star here. This is for her toenails. This is nylon. I have a little bit of red for her lips, and then a little bit of black for her eyeballs. So let's get started. Now, it's a fairly easy felt. Like I said, we're going to, I wrap it around my finger. You can use a skewer if you want. Another method you can do is tie a knot. But what we're going to do first is make a pear shape. And I do have a tutorial, or not a tutorial, a little diagram that I will upload. Actually, not me. Cannon's going to upload it to the group right with the video. So the Facebook group, Liongate Farm, Southern Oregon Felting, you'll find the diagram that I make for this right under when he posts the video there. So that's where you go to look for it. So I made a little ball here. It's kind of subjective. I'm using a 38 star spiral. I have 2 of them in my pen tool. The tighter you wrap, again, the less you have to poke. It's been super, super busy here at the ranch. We're getting ready for our very first wedding in 2 weeks. Countdown is on. Everything has to be pristine out there. Can't plant anything though until next Thursday. For those of you keeping track of Oregon, Southern Oregon weather, our last cold night, it says 39. It doesn't mean freezing, but I'm not going to chance it because of our elevation. I don't want to put my 1,500 little babies out of the greenhouse and have them all freeze in one night. It would stink. I told them they have to be patient. Yes, I talk to my plants. He's laughing at me. Y'all know it. You gotta talk to your plants. So you can see I just rolled another little ball that I'm kind of attaching to the top of her body. This is it. And I'll give you some measurements here as soon as I get this all stabbed together. This is not a very technical felt. And our last video was super zoomed in and we don't know why. It didn't get uploaded like that. So we're really sorry about that. Hopefully it won't happen to this one. Today is May the 5th, right? May 5th. Okay, I did a massive update on the farm store at liongate.org. Massive update. I've been kind of remiss about getting that done. So every single dyed lock that I owned is on there. Some of them only have one quantity. And you guys know when I dye my locks, I'm like a mad scientist. So they're not repeatable. I can get close, like stems is pretty repeatable for me, but The rest of them, not repeatable. It just is what it is. So if you want it, you got to get it. And if you know you're going to need it, you got to get it. So you can see I'm kind of making a pair. I don't have enough fiber right here yet. I do down here. There's plenty down here. So she's going to sit. So you want this to be kind of fat, or kind of flat. But she is kind of fat. So. I'm going to add a little bit more. So her body's a little pear, and then her head is a little pear. So it's a pear on a pear. I've started my entry for black sheep. And I say started. You guys know I do one big piece a year. Am I going to tell you what it is? No, I'm not going to tell you yet. Because I haven't decided if I like the color that I was doing. So I'm waiting for some fiber to come in a little different shade. And I'll see if I like it. Not as big as last year's, but it will be just as intricate. Many, many hours. I can tell you it involves feathers. And maybe Cannon and I will shoot a video next week on how I make feathers. I've watched so many videos on it. Everybody does it different. I kind of combined a whole bunch of techniques and I'm very happy with my result. And, you know, feathers are tedious. They're definitely tedious. So if you undertake making a bird with real feathers, I'm going to tell you it's going to take a long time. All right, so got our little body, see my little pear here. So now we're going to make a little pear head to go on top. Let's see how this is shaped like a pear. And it's going to attach right here on this neck part. This time I'm going to use a skewer. It's on my little skewer here. And I'm going to wrap my pear head. Just because it's smaller. Remember when you're wrapping. So if I just wrapped like that, it would be twisted. I don't want it to be twisted. So make sure that your fiber stays flat. I'm going to give you a nice flat base. So since Cannon wasn't here last weekend, John and I spent our time trying to find some irrigation leaks that involved him digging a lot. We found one. The big main one, we have not found it at all. But there's like 8 feet we still haven't dug up, which that's where I think it is, but he thinks I am wrong. But we will see when that last 8 feet gets dug up. We were going to just replace all the pipe, but neither one of us had the ambition to go for that big of a job right now. It'd about kill me, I think. So this is her little nose. You can see there's the nose. So I only need it to be that tall. So this time I'm going to take this in half. And as you know, my stuff is all whimsical, so it won't look like a real hippopotamus. Just a semblance of a hippo. I've not pulled my skewer out yet, as you can see, because I'm going to felt all around here so that when I do pull it out, that stays in there. So now I have a little pair. So this little pair goes right here. And you can see I left a little fringe there. We're going to tack this in. Really, the hardest part about making this hippo is making her tutu. And it just requires a lot of stabbing here. So now you're going to start looking. It's like, okay, where are her little ears going to go? You can see I keep working this towards the body. Use my single needle here. We're going to add some. I need a little neck. So I'm going to fill this in. And Stewie is coming to join us, and he is announcing his presence. If you can hear the cat meowing. And then Rip's going to get involved and be the enforcer. Rip doesn't think Stewie should come near me. So once you get this all joined, then we're going to put some arms and legs in. And I want you to just sit and felt this pretty firm all the way around. Let's get it all joined up and felt that body nice and firm. I want this nice and flat down here. And then we'll come back and put some arms and legs in. This will probably take another 20 minutes. All right, I've been poking on this for a while. You can see I got him pretty firm. Got her pretty firm. I kind of marked where I'm going to put the eyeballs. So they're right up here around the top part of the head. And then this part, you want to sculpt this in. You know, this nose part. So this is kind of... And then you have the nose. Now, so you have the eyeballs. And then the nostrils are going to end up like right here. And we're not going to put those on yet because we have to cover her in gray. But before we do that, I want to add some arm and leg wires. And you know what? I did not write down the measurements. I just did it. So I'm going to just do it with you guys. If I can find the end. This is 18 gauge. Doesn't need to be anything super huge. You could use 16. So you want the front legs to come off here and here. So we're not going side to side. We're going. Rip and Stewie are playing. That's not nice, Rip. This normally happens in the morning, where they play. I'll turn around and Rip will have Stewie's whole head in his mouth. Things like that. Oh, and now he's going to squeak his ball. All right, so let me measure her legs so I get you the right length. So the legs end up being 2 inches. So we probably want 4 inches on this side. And, oops, 4 inches on this side. Because we're going to bend it in half. Isn't that what we always do, is bend them in half? All right, so then just bend it in half. That was a very scientific maneuver. And we're gonna twist them. You don't need to pinch the end. And now Rip's gonna squeak his ball. All right, there we have 2. We want the arms to be about the same. So we're gonna repeat the maneuver up here. And we're probably, let's look here. Rip, leave Stewie alone. Leave Stewie alone. Hi, Stu. You guys should see what happens if I sit in the recliner. And Stuart jumps up on the recliner like a cat does. Before I know it, Rip is in my lap. It's like, who can get closer? Oh, it did not succeed. Let's go again. So what I'm doing is sticking the skewer through. This is my fancy schmancy way of putting on arms and legs. And I just follow the skewer through. There we go. And again, we're going to want 4 inches on this side, 4 inches on this side. I got this bright idea to put these solar twinkle lights on the arches out there for nighttime, wedding venue, those little copper LED things. And the strings are like 200 feet long, I swear. The wire just reminded me of this, and oh my gosh, it was a lesson in patience, because you'd get halfway and they'd get all tangled up. I was like, oh, I almost threw in the towel at one point. But I didn't. I got them on there, and they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Solar twinkle lights on the arch. It goes into our patios. Looks kind of cool. So there we have it. We have 4 little arms and legs. All right. Let's add her arms and legs. And we're going to do it with core wool. So I tore off a piece of core wool and I'm attaching it to her body. And, you know, these little arms and legs are pretty simple. They are wider at the end. And, you know, I just went past that wire. Wider at the end. So I'm concentrating there first. We don't want that wire to stick out. Now, the one thing you don't make them as big as they're going to be right away, because we're going to cover them up with the gray. So if you're using a darker color, like we're going to use gray, you're going to see that it's not as easy to cover core wool with a dark color. So if you have a dark colored core, you could use a dark colored core for this if you have one. So that's how easy her little arms and legs are. Just gonna get one there attached. And I didn't felt that a lot because I wrapped it pretty tight, but I will felt it more when I wrap on the gray. You get to see me do this 4 times. Again, I'm going to tear off a little piece, attach it to the body, just to anchor it. And we're going to go this way. And see, I'm wrapping it pretty tight, so I don't have to felt it as much. Kind of want to make sure they're the same size. I like them to be kind of flat for her feet. Not like she's going to walk on them or anything or stand on them. I just don't want that wire sticking out. So you want to make sure you're going past the wire and it has no chance of sticking out there. Let's make a nice gradual decrease all the way to the armpit. that piece I did not get on tight enough, so I'm going to felt it a little bit. Then we're going to do the same thing for the legs. Same thing, just so her little legs stick out. We want the foot to be bigger, the foot area. Again, I went past the wire. Let's tack that on. So we're going to do that. And then the next step is to cover it in whatever color you are using for your hippo. I'm not going to do that leg yet. So I'm going to use this gray. I think this is called granite. And you are just going to cover the entire thing. So I want you to just wrap and stab, wrap and stab. It's going to take you a while. So, and I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me wrap and stab because that is boring for you. Just know that it takes some time to get that far. I start with the legs and the arms. But see what I was talking about? See, it's gonna, just make sure you get all the core wool covered if you're using cream color core wool or your basic core wool. Because if you go too thin, you'll have a tendency to see that core wool. We don't want to do that. You can always go back after and add like a little patch here and there. But I want you to go through, cover your arms and legs first, and then cover the body. And then we're going to get it on there pretty firm. And then we're going to come back and we're going to put all her details on. Okay, so realistically, I've been sitting here stabbing for at least a half an hour, you guys. Right, Cannon? Has it been about a half an hour?
Yeah.
To get this all covered. And I still have a couple bare spots. So after you think you're done, you got to go back and look. Like there's a little bare spot on this leg. Putting the top coat on does a couple things. It helps you get your figure super strong. There's a little bare spot right there, but I'm not going to worry about it. But it took me a little bit more than 1/4 of an ounce. It did not take a half an ounce because this is the second quarter, but it did take just a smidge over 1/4 of an ounce, but we're not quite done. All right, so now we have this half of a hippo. So let's make it come alive. This is the best part. All right, so first we gotta make ears. These tiny little ears and the tiny little nostrils. And we're going to use our top coat color. I'm kind of liking this gray better than I like that other color that I did. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it in a little, I'm going to need 4 of these. So there's 1. And you can do them all on the same skewer at the same time. That way they're all kind of the same size. They're all about the same size. There's 2. And if you just spin it, it should felt them. This one's a little fatter that will be a nostril probably. Let's just do this. So then slide this off. So now you have this little tube. And what you're going to do is take it and just, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. There's our little ear. We're going to attach it over here on the side of the head. And that's going to give us a little tiny ear. Now, we obviously don't want this space right here. I must have hit my wire because my needle is bent, but you know what? Bent needles still work. So I'm just going to fill that spot in the ear in and use this little extra fringe. And that gives us one little ear there. They have tiny little ears. Look at pictures. And then but if you look at pictures, you're going to see that this is very whimsical. It is nothing like a real hippo. And then where's our, we have a second one. They don't have to be exactly the same size, but close. And since this one had a little bit more fiber in it, I'm just going to tap it in a little further back, so I have extra back there. And we need a little piece to fill the back of the ear in. Just tiny little ears. Just watch this video of this baby hippo it was floating upside down on its back. Everybody thought it was dead. It's this tiny little hippo at a zoo. But if you looked really close, you could see the little ears wiggling. So he wasn't dead. It was very cute. So the eyeballs are not far down. One's going to be right here. And the other one's going to be right here. And there's a reason I'm poking these in here right now. Because the nose is a little bit to the outside. And then we want to mark where the mouth is going to be. Just take your needle. You can already see she's going to be cute. I poke this in pretty far. I'm sculpting it in. And if your head is firm enough, you'll be able to do that. So now let's make two more little sausage rolls for the nostrils. Just like we did for the ears. That's one. We'll do another one. Uh-oh. Well, I didn't mean to take that off yet. But I did. So we'll just make another one. Really only need two. Just like that. Just like up there, this is too much. Okay, hold on. I am going to take my scissors and cut some of this off. Kind of got to play it by ear, literally. That looks like the right amount once we get it all poked in. So poke in your bottom end, poke in this end. Now this one, we're going to just poke this back in. There's our little nostril. going to use that stuff I cut off here in just a second. I might have to cut some off of this one too. I want them to be the same size. Well, they should be okay. Don't poke your finger. Did anybody go to Maryland Sheep and Wool this weekend? If you did, I'm really jealous. Went to that one time in Baltimore. That was very fun. I wanted to go this year, but we decided not to. It's a good thing because it rained. Last time we went, it rained. It was still fun, but it rained. And nobody likes a craft fair in the rain. And just like on the ears, I'm filling the top part in with a little bit of fluff, just to smooth it out. So let's get this all smoothed out. We have our little nostrils. So we're going to put a tiny bit of red in the nostrils. Just a tiny bit. I still may add a little bit more gray, maybe not. Let's put some on this side. I have a very small amount of fibers that I'm adding inside these nostrils. Use your needle, wind it all up. I'm just smoothing this all out. So now we have our mouth. All right. So this, you don't have to make lips. I like lips on hippos, because we're going to make her into a ballerina, so she should have lips. So find the center of your mouth. And it's kind of like making a heart. It really actually is like making a heart. We're just going to make lips. Let's make a little heart. Trust your needle. If you don't feel like you can freehand this, you could always stab it on your pad first and then move it here. I just feel like you get a better shape when you do it like that. And then we're going to take a little bit more. This is the color I'm using here is scarlet. It's a scarlet merino though, believe it or not. I'm using merino because it's shiny. I wanted it a little bit shiny. The color on the hippo is granite. Let's give her some eyeballs. Eyeballs are really just two little dots. They have tiny, tiny, tiny little eyes. For being one of the most dangerous animals on the planet, they really have small eyeballs, small ears. This is just a little bit of black that I'm putting in here. Very small amounts. We do want the eyes to be the same size. Okay, so there's one or two more things to do here. We're going to put toenails and fingernails on her, but I like to give her a little butt. See her little butt here? My friends were joking. They said, I just stab it in here. And I go up to there and over to there. They said I should put a thong on her, but I did not. So she's going to have a little hiney. a little bit of hiney. And then we'll add a little tail. So she's got a little hiney there. And we're going to add a little tiny tail. And I wired it. I actually wired it. And I just cut a little piece of wire. And to make her tail, first, I just wrapped. You can use some of your beeswax on here if you want. But I wrapped that corner first, where we're going to bend it. And then I twisted it. So that's covering the end. And then we're just going to give her a little wrap-a-rooney around this tail. They have tiny little tails. I think that wire ended up being probably a little bit over an inch when it's bent. So we have this little piece. Where did my skewer go? And you can make a little hole. Stick your tail wire in there. Because no one's really going to see this tail unless they look under her tutu. But we want her to be anatomically correct, right? And if you start to come unwrapped, like I just did, because I wasn't felted, just give it a twist. So we have a little tail. All right. I'm going to show you on 1 foot and then let you guys have at it. So I have here some Firestar. This is called Firestar. It's nylon, believe it or not, it's nylon. And I am going to, it felt pretty good for toenails and things. And so I just took a strip of this nylon and I'm going to make her some sparkly nails. I have some rainbow dyed Firestar in the shop, not very much. It is in my blending packs. So if you have a blending pack and you're like, oh, what do we do with this Firestar? Well, you use it to add sparkly bits like this. So I just put 3 toenails per foot. Is that correct? I don't know. That's what I like. So out of that one little piece that I put on here, I was able to make all 3 toenails. Is it actually felting to the wool? Probably not. It's probably just sitting in here being poked in. I use Firestar a lot when I'm felting things. It's a good addition for sparkly. There's 3 toenails. I just like the sparkle. But before I keep going, so you know how to do the toenails now, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to move her out of the way for a minute. Okay, this is tulle. This is a lot of tulle. I bought this at a well-known craft supply store. Comes in many colors. As you can see, this one has sparklies on it. This one we're going to do teal. Cannon wanted teal. And I cut a length. And this might be hard to see. That's why I moved the pad out of the way. And I'm going to fold it in 4ths. How many inches are here? Probably like 15, I'm going to guess, 12. Okay, there's 16 inches. it's like 1.5 times wider than she is. All right, so we folded it once. And we're going to fold it again. I'm just going to sit those scissors there for a minute. So what I have is 4 layers. Don't be super persnickety. You can pin it if you want. But you don't need to be super persnickety about this. Except for you do need a good fold right here. Okay, so I'm going to use this on this end. You probably can't see that. I just sat something on either end. And then I use a heavy duty thread. Doesn't matter what color it is. And I threaded it onto this needle. And I'm going to make a knot here at the end. So what I'm going to do, and you can do it on a sewing machine, but I'm going to do it by hand in case you don't have a sewing machine. Use a basting stitch on a sewing machine. So because tulle has holes in it, I want you to make like a little stitch there that will hold this in place. It won't pull through. So now I'm just going to go through and baste this, making sure I'm catching all the layers. I'm just going back and forth. There's no fanciness about this. You can already see that she's going to have a blue tutu. Pretty boring watching me sew, huh, guys? All right, I needed to get it off the needle so I have more room. So just keep going. Back and forth. We're just basting this on here. So now we have it all on here. I hope I got enough. I should have enough. So now we have this little tutu. And you're going to put it around her waist. Oh, well, maybe I have enough. Find the center here. Yeah, I have enough. So 15 inches is enough. So find where it's going to go. Just want one end to the other end. And I am going to tie it on her. Basically, sew it on her. You want to pull it pretty tight. Don't break your thread. Whoops. Don't get caught around her neck. You can make it fuller than this, but I'm going to show you a little trick here in a second, how to make it poof out. So the sparkly one has more body to it because of all the glitter that's on it. All right, and then just knot it and cut it. So then we're going to work our little layers around. I'm working it down around her waist here. So it doesn't look like a cool tutu yet, does it? That's because we have to cut it. Remember, we folded it. So now we're going to cut those folds off. It does not need to be even. It's really hard to see in this light. Just cut the little folds. Like I said, it doesn't need to be super even. Boy, did I get them all? So then you're going to have 4 layers, and you need to just pull them apart. Just pull them apart. You'll find out if you cut them all right about now. Yeah, I think for the plain tool, you probably could do double the amount of layers. So I might make her another one and put it on top of it. It's still cute though. There's her little blue tutu. But when you separate these layers is when it floofs up. You should have 4 layers. There it is. That's when the tutu floofs up. And you don't even see the thread. I mean, if you want to be persnickety, you can use, whoops, got a little looseness there. Yeah, she probably needs more layers. Move your little ruffles around to get them where they go. I think I like the sparkles better, Cannon. It's cute, but I like the sparkles better, I think. So I noticed a bare spot down here when I was lifting up her tutu. Again, squish your hippo in, move the tutu to where you want it. Just by squishing your tummy in. Super fun, super fun. And then, you know, you can decorate her. Once she has all her toenails on, she's going to be way better. But I have a little blue bow here. Devil's in the details. You know how I am about this. I have a little bow. You can glue it on or attach it with a tiny piece of fiber. A little bow for her hair. I don't think hippos have hair. And then I have a little flower. That will have to be glued on. But that will be cute. Super cute. But let's finish her toenails. She's going to the spa here. So again, I took out another little piece. If you start in the middle, you get a good toenail. Whatever angle works for you on these. Sometimes it's better to hold her upside down. You don't have to use sparkly Firestar. You can use just pink fiber or whatever other color you want to give her toenails. Or just make them white. Just as long, you know, gives her feet a little bit of definition. I feel like I didn't have this foot felted enough. So now that I'm trying to sculpt, my toenails are disappearing. Now we'll do some on her fingers. Her hoofs, or whatever they are. Let's do more red on the top. You guys probably noticed I never have on nail polish, because my hands are usually beat to heck from being outside. When you have a farm, fingernails are not a thing. I like how this is giving me a gradient. I have too much on this one end, so I'm just bringing it back to the other end. Or you can cut it. You can't really tear the nylon stuff apart. So I'm just working it all in. John just put Rip's food in his bowl, and he's been having a hard time on the floors lately because he's been moving so fast since his herding class that he keeps falling down the stairs, on the tile. It's kind of funny. At our expense, we laugh at him. Okay, one more set, and we're kind of done. I keep adjusting her tutu because I don't really like it yet. It doesn't stand out as much as the pink one does. Aren't you glad manicurists don't do your fingernails with needles like this? I suppose you could get them tattooed on or something. So you guys, our next live sale, if you're following along on the live sales, which is the best time to snag all my new dyed locks for the month, is Friday, the last Memorial weekend. And I think we're at 4:30 Pacific. I think. Don't quote me, but I know we're on Friday. So it's a good time. Be on Friday. Okay, gotta sit her down for this last one. I'm gonna have to cut some of this off. Too much. And if you have requests for what colors you want to see or what you need, you know, I'm always willing to take requests. I know I have somebody out there looking for teal green right now. Kim is looking for teal green. She's also been waiting for this hippo video to come out. We had to wait for Cannon to heal. These young kids and their weightlifting. Okay. Oh, I don't like this. Okay. Go along, and there we go. We have one cute little hippo. Oh, you know, let's take a little tiny bit of white and put it inside of her ear. Or it's just core wool. It's a tiny bit. And this one, that'll give us a little bit of definition there. You could use a lighter gray if you wanted. I'm trying to get all the details in, you guys. Because you know, after we stop filming, I always go back and do a little bit more. Because I just can't stop. I will work on them and finish them up just a little bit more when we're done. But there we go. She's very cute. She's very cute. You could give her a necklace. There's so many things you could do. You can make a boy one with a bow tie or something. Somebody said put ballet slippers on her, but I don't know how we would do that with those big feet. Okay, there you have it. One cute little hippo in a tutu. I like the pink one better. Thanks for joining me today, making our cute little hippos. You can see I couldn't not put glitter on her. I had to give her some glitter around her tutu. But thanks for joining me. If you liked it, click like, and then make sure to follow us because it really helps us out. If you need supplies, head over to liongate.org, click on the farm store. Just been updated with tons of locks.